Riddle me this, Sega fans. Pinch one off and pull the chain. One should do the same with this rotten game. What am I? Well, if you said Batman Forever on Sega Genesis, then you're absolutely right. It's not the worst game I've ever played, but it totally bites the big one. I'm sure many have said, well, look at the source material, jackass, how is this shocking? The answer is simple. I dug Batman Forever. Sure, the ending is terrible and embodies everything I'd soon despise with Batman and Robin, minus George Clooney. That aside, I think it's pretty fucking good. Anyway, back to this craptacular mess.
If the bat wants to play, we'll play.
You can play as either Batman or Robin, though the difference is purely cosmetic from what I can tell. Batman is no stronger or faster than Robin, so it's whatever. Both have a full arsenal of weapons at their disposal, most of which you'll never use for a multitude of reasons. Really, they're too difficult to pull off, and they're not all that effective to begin with. Look at this, these numbnuts almost always duck my batarangs. The only time they really work is when there's two coming right at me. Trying to use a flashbang is nearly impossible. It's not a difficult move to pull off in any other game, yet for whatever reason Batman's struggling like the hooker locked in my trunk. Okay, you know what? Let me get the positive shit out of the way. First off, I like the digitized graphics. They're certainly a product of their time, yes, but they do capture the essence of the movie well. Flashy, bold, and fairly colorful. Yeah, so that's about it. On with the chiding! I'll begin with the controls. Batman Forever is compatible with both 3-button and 6-button controllers, so naturally I suggest using the latter. It really lightens the workload, for it cuts down on the number of button combinations you'd have to remember just to progress. It's still a dull ache in my prostate with the 6 buttons, since all but one of the 6 available face buttons on this fucker are assigned to combat and defense. Why is that? Because they're modeled after Mortal Kombat. I didn't realize it at the time, but it's true. The button combos are virtually identical, as are the animations. It wouldn't be a problem if it weren't for certain sections where platforming is required. Like the SNES version, you must press up to jump. Thankfully, that one button I mentioned is assigned to the grappling hook, meaning it's a tad easier to pull off. Jumping down can be an ordeal though, since you gotta press down and C, or low kick if you will, to jump down. Good lord. Unfortunately, that's not the worst part. No, that comes with these hooks or screws or whatever the fuck. When you actually figure out what the hell they do by chance, you'll find they're a chore to deal with thanks to the so-called jump button. You gotta be moving toward them in the direction you desire, then press up and forward. Then just forward, or you could fuck it up entirely. Mastering this is a necessity because this one stage in particular expects you to light 6 spotlights within a set time limit. If you take too long jumping or swinging from one to the other, they'll shut off. I'm sure it's clear at a glance just how fucking annoying this stage truly is. Wait, you know what? Wait, that's unfair. The stage itself is fine. It's the controls that make it an experience worth wiping from memory. Then we have the ridiculous difficulty. Mind you, I'm not so hot with Mortal Kombat, so this game is a serrated pecker even on the easiest setting. Adding insult to injury, you're only given a handful of lives and very few continues. The thought of diving right back into this after having made it all the way to level 4 section 2 only to die and start over is a nightmare worthy of even Freddy Krueger's praise. My god, it's almost unimaginable. 80 fucking stages of pure mediocrity and frustration without reprieve. Remember how Batman had the fast-paced shooter stages that broke up the monotony a bit? How about Batman Returns on Sega CD with all the driving levels brimming with speed, explosions, and kick-ass music? Remember that shit? Well, not here. It's just mind-numbing frustration for 80 fucking stages. I cannot... fuck. One last thing, let's talk about the final boss battle. Just so you know, I used a level select code in order to show you later portions of the game because I haven't the interest or patience to endure this miserable piece of holy rusted fuck any longer than necessary. So here you go! I mean, just look at that. Two-Face is just taking it. What a joke. Wait, you know, I take that back. This is the joke. Yeah, that's the fucking Riddler. Oh, this has to stop. Batman Forever on Sega Genesis may have been a complete mess, but it wasn't the only game based on Joel Schumacher's first dance with the Caped Crusader. No, we had Batman Forever, the arcade game. Unlike the Genesis game, this arcade port isn't suffering from an identity crisis. It's a side-scrolling beat-em-up with big, brash visuals and sound, much like the movie. No puzzles or platforming bullshit here. This is a wildly chaotic exercise in button mashing. Believe it or not, the arcade game was developed using the STV, or Sega Titan video game system. The Titan was built around the Saturn's architecture, making ports like Die Hard Arcade, Virtua Fighter Remix, and Batman Forever almost flawless. Like Die Hard Arcade, this is a pricey title in the Saturn's reasonably extensive library, thanks mostly to the license. Jesus, disc-only copies, be it on Saturn or PlayStation, will run you anywhere from $35 to $50. God damn! Now that's impressive. Like I said, this is a beat 'em up, no question. You can play as either Batman or Robin, both with their own strengths and weaknesses. Why this valuable information isn't printed on the character's select screen, like Streets of Rage for example, is beyond me, but okay. Batman is slower, though his attacks are more powerful. The reverse is true for Robin, but he attacks so quickly that enemies rarely have an opportunity to attack. Look at Robin go! Jesus, it looks like the spin dash. This is a good thing since there's no post-hit invincibility for you or your enemies, meaning if there's enough of these bastards on either side of your avatar, they can drain your health in an instant. I mean, instantly. Just look at this shit. That's fucking ridiculous. It was like less than a minute. Sadly, Robin is the better choice here. I never thought I'd say that. This wouldn't be a huge deal if the game offered you unlimited continues, but it doesn't. No, you're given only 9 continues with 3 lives per turn. You may think that's more than enough, though you're sorely mistaken. Look at how many thugs, thieves, and hookers you have to cripple at any given time. It's pure insanity. It's just so frenetic. This bitch does not let up. Get this, it's on easy. I typically start every game on the easiest settings so I can get acquainted with the controls and figure out the play mechanics without the added level of frustration. Batman Forever said, nuh-uh, if the bat wants to play, we'll play. The game may be relentlessly difficult, though it's still enjoyable. You're given a wide array of weapons like batarangs and grappling hooks. The grappling hook is my personal favorite. So cool. With every thug you bust, you're given a bat insignia. Collect enough of them and your hero of choice becomes God for like 5 seconds. Wow, if only he did that shit in the movie. You can interact with the environment like using the grappling hook to rip support beams out of the ceiling or throwing explosive barrels at unsuspecting criminals. Standard shit, though it is fun. Controls are hit and miss here. Really, very little skill is required. You can just mash buttons and make your mark. However, if you want to do something specific, like the grappling hook bit I just mentioned, there's no fuss. On the flip side, whenever the screen is inundated with street punks, you'll inadvertently lock into a grapple when they get close, when all you want to do is use a weapon. The only way you can break out of it is to jump. It's really fucking annoying. I cannot stress that enough. Graphically, Batman Forever Arcade is a visual feast of rich, eye-popping color with dazzling sprite scaling and rotation effects. If you're a fan of the film, which I am, you'll definitely appreciate the level of detail on display. Backgrounds, enemies, and items are all very faithful to the movie's production and costume design. The music is a fantastic 32-bit recreation of Goldenthal's main themes, accompanied by deep, hard-hitting punches, kicks, and... yeah, that shit. Batman Forever Arcade is typically criticized for button-mashing monotony, dated graphics, been there, done that gameplay, and punishing difficulty. Those critiques, I feel, are most definitely valid. It's a reasonably generic beat-em-up that requires more patience than it does actual skill, and the graphics weren't all that special when compared to Die Hard Arcade, which came out that same year. Still, I like it. I do love the movie, and this is a very playable game in my opinion. If you pair up with a friend, it's even better.